Good day, viewers. You are welcome to today's edition of Retirement News. I remain the promoter of this program, Mr. Chus Udo Okonta, and the publisher of Eastpen Online News Channel. Thank you for taking our time to watch this clip. I want to appreciate those that have been following us, those that have subscribed to our YouTube channel, and for those that have been sending their comments, those that have been calling to make inquiry. We actually appreciate your support, and we still crave that as you watch this clip, don't just watch it alone, send it across to your friends and well-wishers so that they too will be informed. We are actually determined to continue to deepen awareness on retirement. Today we have come with another robust topic, and the topic we are considering is on the front burner, even as the stakeholders in the pension sector are making move to reform, that is to actually review the Pension Reform Act 2014. Today we'll be looking at a topic that says motivating police officers with good pension benefits. Motivating police officers with good retirement benefit. You can still take it as pension. That is motivating police officers with good retirement benefits. That is the topic we want to consider today. And before we go into the discussions, let's just highlight some few news that we have. A group known as Center for Pensions Rights Advocate actually called, and even when they submitted a memoranda to the National Assembly calling for the upgrade of police officers from the rank of AIG to actually be at par with their colleagues in the public service, like the permanent secretaries, who always retire with their last salary. And this group believes that this will go a long way to motivate these police officers. And since from the rank of AIG, DIG, and IG is a political appointment, just like the permanent secretaries, this group believes that these officers should as well be treated just like their colleagues in other MDAs, like ministry departments and agencies of government, especially the permanent secretaries and professors who always retire with their last salary. That is from the group. We will just pray that the National Assembly will look into this and see the merits and, if possible, approve it. Then the second news news we have has to do with, for those that follows trends in the pension sector. Last year, the National Pension Commission gave mandate to the pension fund administrators that they should recapitalize, that they have to move their capital base from 1 billion to 5 billion. And the deadline for that exercise is this next month, April 2022. And information reaching us shows that the PFAs are actually working assiduously, to meet this deadline, and we wish them all the best. These are just the news items that we have today. Let's just go into the topic that we have today. Just as I've said earlier, we'll be looking at the topic that says motivating police officers with good retirement benefits. That is what we want to consider today. Motivating police officers with good retirement benefits. Amid all the enormous needs of police officers, we believe that retirement is key to them, and that is why they've been agitating that they want to exit from the contributory pension scheme because of the issue of retirement. There are a lot of needs that the police officers are actually asking for, but to them, this retirement benefit is key, because when they look at what their contemporaries in other paramilitary, like those in the military, those in the DSS, what they are earning at retirement, they were not happy, and that was why they were calling that they want to exit. But we believe that these officers can still be retained in the CPS, but some things need to be done in order to keep them there, and those things are the few things that we consider necessary, the things we are going to highlight, in this podcast. We just like as we said earlier, that group actually raised some things that we too are aligned with, and those things will be highlighting it. We want to actually say that it's being said that if you want to retain your workers, motivate them. But if you train your workers, they will use the skill that they've acquired, they will use it to seek another job. That means motivation is very, very key. You want to retain your workers, motivate them. It's not just by training. When you train them, once they get the skill, other organizations will come and push them. But when you motivate them, they will stay with you. And that is why we are calling for motivation for our police officers who actually take out their time, to secure or to make sure that we and our properties are adequately secured. What are the few things that we've identified that should be used, as tools to motivate these officers? The first thing that we identify there is that the salary of the police officers should be adequate. It should be increased. Though this present government has actually done well in increasing their salary, but information reaching us, there was even will I call it now, it was alleged that even the police were planning to go on strike because they said this increment has not been implemented. And if actually it is true, we call on those that are responsible for this to implement this increment, and not just even implementing it, we are still advocating that the salary, the pay of police officers should be encouraging, because once their salary is encouraging, they will be motivated to give out their best. And followed by this is the issue of their retirement, which has to do with the contributions made towards their retirement, because the contributory pension scheme is actually based on your salary. What you earn determines what you will get at retirement, because your deductions, the contributions, accrue from your salary. And if your salary is huge, your contributions will be huge. And when the police officers contribute, that salary is increased, that will actually impact their contributions. And we just pray that even the government can take up that responsibility of increasing their contribution. We know that the present 18%, which is 10% from the employer, 8% from the employee, is just the minimum. We are advocating that government can decide to even contribute 20% for police officers and deduct 8% from their emolument. That will now amount to 28%. This will actually help to increase, what the police officers will have in their RSA at the point of retirement. We have identified two things now: increase their salary, that will impact on their contribution, increase their contribution, and government should look into how they can come in even to take up like 20% and 8% from these officers. Another thing that we are advocating here is proper training. The police officers should be properly trained so that even at retirement they can remain relevant to the society. They should be properly trained so that if at retirement they can become security consultants. Like one of the editions we have here, we talk about, say, don't retire tired. Many of our police officers retire and they are still very strong, but when they have the requisite training, they will still remain relevant, most especially as the country is in need of people to prefer solution on how to tackle the normal challenges that we have. If our police officers are properly trained, even in retirement, they will still remain relevant. We actually advocate for proper training for the rank and file and the top officials. It will go a long way to actually motivate them to give their best. Aside training, we are still coming up that, like, just in line with what that group advocated, those police officers from the rank of AIG to IG, the submission made by that group, we are aligned with it. They should be allowed to retire like their counterparts, the permanent secretaries. That means when they retire, they should retire with the salary that they are earning. That will go a long way to actually motivate them too. Then after that, according to that group, the group proposed that at retirement, those that are below AIG now, at retirement, they should be paid gratuity, and even these top officials too, these two should benefit from the gratuity, and the gratuity should be 300% of their gross earning, annual earning. That should be put together and be paid to them as gratuity. What that will now implies is that at retirement, police officers should not be given lump sum from what they have in the RSA. Everything that they have in the RSA should be used to factor in their monthly pension benefits, either annuity or program withdrawal. That gratuity is very key, and it should be 300% of gross of their annual earning. We align with that submission from that group too. This should be done to actually encourage our police officers that are working hard every day to secure us. We still want to actually canvass. We know that is in place. The health insurance for police officers should be robust. It should be robust. They and their family members should be taken care of. And we, like in the pension industry, there was a time that the stakeholders were trying to bring up the issue of mortgage financing. That should be done, because the police officers will not remain in the barracks. When they retire, they have to retire into somewhere, and we are praying that the police officers should be motivated by making provisions for mortgage for them. They should be housing for them. At retirement, they should retire into their own personal good homes. This should be. I learned that, I know some of my police officers told me that actually they deduct that from their salary, but they complain that that has not been fully implemented. I think that should be, the IG should look into it, that policy of mortgage, providing good houses for the police officers, should be encouraged, so that at least they'll give their best, and they know that at retirement, for those that live in the barracks, they know that once they retire, they leave the barracks and go into their own homes. And those that are maybe living in rented apartment, they'll have their own good homes to retire to. That is another good thing that we are praying that should be done to motivate our police officers. Then the last one I want to identify here, we are praying the National Pension Commission and other key stakeholders, the government, that they should look into the affairs of the police properly. If possible, just like as we know that PENCOM actually grants some states the waiver to run a hybrid of DBS and CPS. DBS is Defined Benefit Scheme, and Contributory Pension Scheme. They merge it together. Some states, I know, like Jigawa State, they are doing it. That can also be done for the police sector, that is for the police force. A hybrid of the DBS and CPS can be designed for the police officer, because when I look at the benefit from the DBS, it's actually robust. There are some things that can be taken from the DBS and merge with the CPS, so that our officers will be motivated. With these few things that we have actually identified today, and we know that the other experts are still raising some things, it is our expectation that these things will be looked into, and so that our police officers will be highly motivated, because when they are motivated, all of us we keep enjoying their services. I remain the promoter of this program, Mr. Chuks Udoh Okonta. In case you want to get across to us, mobile lines are 08054269557 and 070 33253527. If you want to reach us through mail, our email address is ispenonline@gmail.com. Thank you very much for giving us your time today. By the grace of God, we will still come your way in the future. Remain blessed.